Hello and welcome. I'm Arjun Bakale, and in today's video, we're going to explore how to make a very basic game using Scratch. Right here is what our code is going to end up doing. If we press this green flag to start the code, we're going to be able to move a bowl with our arrow keys and catch falling objects. As you can see, if I catch them with the bowl, they disappear, and if I don't, they fall all the way to the bottom. Now let's get straight into the coding. The first step is you want to go to the Scratch website, and if you've never been here before, make an account. Once you've done that, press create, wait for a sec, and then in this area you can see various blocks with which we can make our game. The first step is going to be to set the background. As you can see in this bottom right hand corner, you can choose a backdrop, and we can just search for one using the search bar. And I think for our case, I want to use the beach as my background. Awesome. Next, we're going to add our sprite. The way we do that is by navigating to the bottom right, and right next to backdrop we can see we can add a sprite. So I'm going to choose a sprite by searching for it, and I'm going to use this bowl. Now I want to add code that makes the bowl move right when the right arrow is clicked and left when the left arrow is clicked. The way we do that is by first going to the events tab and saying when the green flag is clicked. This means that whenever this green flag over here is clicked, all the code inside of it will run. Without this, our code will not work. And how do we know if we click the right arrow? Well, lucky for us, Scratch has something called if, which can detect when something is pressed. So if we go to control, we can add an if statement. If something happens, then something happens. In this case, we want to say, if the right key is pressed, then the bowl will move to the right. We can do this by going to sensing and adding the key pressed item. We can say if key, and since we want the key to be the right arrow, we can say if key right arrow is pressed, then we want the bowl to move to the right. We can go to motion and say move 10 steps, and what this does is it moves the bowl 10 steps whenever the right arrow is pressed. Now I'm going to repeat the same process if the left arrow is pressed. So we can say if this time the left arrow is pressed, we want it to move. Do we want it to move 10 steps? Well, no. 10 steps would move it in the right direction. We can say move negative 10 steps, which would make the ball move this way in the negative X direction whenever the left arrow is clicked. Now it's time to test and see if our code runs. Let's press the green flag to see if it works. Alright, looks like the left and right arrows aren't doing anything. Let's ask the Nivaro chatbot for some help. I'm gonna say Scratch block code for if statement that moves sprites left and right with arrow keys. Let's compare our code with what Scratch says. It says when green flag is clicked. It looks like we have that. And then it says forever if keys are pressed. This is weird because we don't have a forever. Let's see what happens if we add that. Looks like there's a forever in control, and like the example said, we can put everything around the forever. Now let's see if it works. Let's press press the green arrow. Let's press the green flag again. And this time, if I press the right and left arrows, the ball's moving. Awesome. So let's open a new Google document and make a checklist for all the things the following object should have. First, we have to put it in a forever loop. And then every single time it falls from the sky, we want to make a clone of it. We want to clone the sprite. And since we're starting off at the top of the screen, it would be really boring if it fell from the same X and Y every single time. So let's say start from the same height but a different X coordinate. This way, by starting at a different X, we'll get it'll fall from different areas, making the game challenging. Next, we can say make it fall at a constant speed. And then the final step is if the object touches the ball, it should be hidden. And using the Nivaro chatbot and your Scratch skills, I want you to make code for the following object. At this point, you should pause the video and then make sure you're able to code the following object with the Nivaro chatbot. And I'm going to be revealing the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause the video if you haven't given it a shot already. Alright, here is the code. So here it says, forever, I want this milk carton, which is my following object, to make a clone of itself. And I want that to happen every 2 to 3 seconds. And then when a clone is made, I want to start it from the same height, which is Y 180. And then I want it to point a 90 because that makes it face down so it can fall down. And also I said set X to pick number between -200 and 200 since it starts at a random X coordinate. Then it should show itself because until now it was hidden. And I want it to keep changing by 5 until it's touching the ball. And this if on edge, make sure